Wake up.
I'm alive.
That's okay, you're live.
Hello, my name's Rob. Welcome to AUSHAMMER, where I'm joined by four very special men, and they got here on the short bus. Hi, guys.
Oh, hey,
I
mate.
was in the back of the bus.
We are definitely at the back of this bus. Like we forgot to get off on a stop a long time ago. But yeah, this is AUSHAMMER, episode 23. It's going to be an exciting night. We're joined by Rob himself, the honest gamer. We've got our new members. Scotty, give us a shout.
Hey guys, how you doing?
And David.
Hey guys, how's it going?
My God, he's not wearing a hat, Brindley. Get rid of him.
No, well, we're literally running out of hats. He's either got to go with a Trillbilly or a fedora, and I don't think we need to see that on.
What about one of those fruit ones?
Oh yeah, we could get a fruit one. We can
Totally
do that. Yeah, so these are our two newest. What was the word you used? The plural for AUSHAMMER, and I can't even remember. AUSHAMMERians or something.
AUSHAMMErians.
AUSHAMMER.
Yeah, you like that? Yeah,
I don't know. Something strange. Anyway. Yeah, these are our two new lads on the show. It went from 2 to 4 real quick, so hopefully we'll get double the work done. But that's probably not going to happen. We'll probably crawl back to nothing.
That's the spirit. Stay positive.
Yeah, well with that attitude. Good job.
Yeah, that's the professionalism you can come to expect from us here, Rob.
Hey, if you have professionalism from this show, you're probably in the wrong place.
I think that's the starting statement of absolutely every Warhammer show, basically.
Yeah.
And then the ones that don't say it aren't professional at all.
Exactly.
That's the spirit. I 100% agree.
By admitting we're not professional, we're professional. Yeah.
Professional.
Yeah, I like it. I can roll with this. I can handle this.
See, the key is consistency. We're consistently mediocre, therefore it's pretty darn good.
Hey, that's how we got best new series. You know.
Oh, dude! Speaking of which, it's still here. Oh, that one's upside down.
Upside down.
What did you get?
So shout out to
Warhammer Weekly.
Michael at Doom and Darkness. How many of these did you get, buddy? Pretty good for two guys who wear a hat inside far too often. No, they're just they're the YouTube Warhammer YouTube Awards for 2017. So we won Best New Series and Best Overall.
Who runs that?
That was hosted by Vince and Kieran. Vince and Kieran. Sorry. So Warhammer Weekly, and yeah, it's held every year towards the end of the year, I think. So I think what happened was a whole bunch of people got drunk and decided it'd be funny to see what happened if they voted for AUSHAMMER, and that was the result.
Yeah, well, we won 2 categories. So
yeah, it was kind of like the same way Trump got into power, except YouTube Awards. So
Russian bot.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what? I don't know what he's talking about.
we didn't pay Russian bots to rig the election. I mean, the contest. I mean,
that's it exactly.
We're on a list now.
Yes. Anyway, so before we get into our first couple of segments with our new guys, Rob, what have you been up to, buddy?
What, recently or the past? Give me a time frame.
I will give you 7 days. That is your limit, sir.
That's pretty good.
Oh, okay. I've been making a lot of videos, which I've been enjoying. That's the main thing I really enjoyed doing. I built 9 Bullgrins, 40k players out there. You might know that I'm building a 27 Bullgrin list, which is fun. I've been keeping track of the Age of Sigmar Blood Tide tournament over here in the UK. I've been talking to the guys and find out how that's been going. So that's been cool. And I've read the Daughters of Cain book, and so yeah, pretty hobby-wise, that's been pretty intense. And apart from that, doing shows, which is cool. We did a show on Thursday. We ran through all of the 40k starter box sets, which is pretty fun. That's it.
Holy heck. For those of you that are interested as well, we already have all of Rob's stuff in links in the description of this video already. So start checking it all out. The website's really cool, by the way. Dig it. Twitch as well, and Twitter's up there. So yeah, check them all out.
Cheers, dudes. Yeah, it's been my week. It's been fun. It's been good, and loads more to come. I think I'm excited about talking about lots of things. Nice talking to you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, that's pleasure.
It's good to have somebody here from Mecca, basically.
Yeah, that's it. You can tell us if that rhino is as big as everyone says it is.
Stop skipping a jump.
Yeah, it works. We almost drove it one Christmas.
Oh wow! Isn't it? It's just a M113 with some structural modifications to it, isn't it? It's like it's actually functioning. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. That's really cool. Oh.
What about what about you, Brinley? Have you been painting my bloody Hurricaneum?
Well, not yet, but I've been playing your other crap.
Son of a bitch. Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, your other stuff. All right, I'll share it so I can show everyone what I've been up to. Yeah, share screen.
Just saying.
Oh, where's me thing? Oh, we just gone to Brinception. Oh wait, no, hold on.
When you're ready, Cupcake.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so Saturday saw me pick up what's that, like 15 heavy weapons teams for
nice
$50. So that's gonna be going towards my Astra Miller time.
Can you imagine how much AOS you could buy if you sold that crap?
Yeah, well, I'd probably just buy more Slaves to Darkness, and I've got like 5 chariots I still have to build, so I'm good for there.
Those are the ones that were on your hobby desk when I popped around the other night, yeah?
Yeah, they're slowly getting climbed up.
They're really cool minis. I like them.
What was it? I think earlier in the week I sat down and I did some work on, what's it called? It's a Knight something. I can remember.
Knight Osiris.
Yeah, that guy. Just a bit of airbrushing.
That's my main man.
Yeah,
the lantern guy.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, he's obviously a Stormcast miniature. However, he's extremely handy if you have a free guild or a stunty army with all the shooting and stuff, because anybody within 10 inches of him, you can add +1 to your hit rolls. You can re-roll hit rolls. So it's really handy, especially when you've already got like units of handgunners hitting and wounding on too. So yeah, pretty cool. And Brinley, you did an awesome job. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and that's him in his full glory as it is. If you guys care for this stuff, you guys can definitely check out my Instagram. But that was pretty fun. It was a good practice in just doing some airbrushing, different sort of highlighting, just a bit of a muck around, and then I went and applied the same technique to Primaris Liberian sword, and just getting a bit of crystal.
Son of a bitch! Did you use my miniature as a fucking guinea pig for the real deal?
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't really care if I screw this one up, so I'll just use Rhine stuff.
That's very purple.
Yeah. So it worked well, and I think it looks very nice, and I'm looking forward to doing a little bit more stuff with some miniatures, but yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to playing a bit more around with the airbrush. I think I've got the Hurricane here that I'll be painting up because Ryan needs it painted pretty soon, so I'll probably hustle with that.
BrizCon is coming. BrizCon, yeah. And
I got a whole pile of piles of yellow Primaris Marines to paint, so I'm pretty good for painting at the moment, but it's just, I don't know, I think it's like anything, it's just a slow process to
just send some to Rob. He can paint.
He can paint. Rob, I hear you're apparently a good painter now.
Who said who?
No.
I can get things to a tabletop, like if I need to.
That's all we're asking. Like, we just
anybody's better than me. Well, dude, guess what? You're not going to believe it, but me, the skillless host, has actually been hobbying. So I've built these cool little things.
Oh, those little things. They go on your.
They're only just starting. So I've only literally just put some plastic down and then used a bit of sand and PVA to start the ground. So that started, and then I got a little bit carried away, and I made this, the world's largest fidget spinner. No, it's going to be a base for some scatter terrain. So using the same techniques, I'm going to make like a giant death graveyardy thing as well, so that for the lols, I can also take gigantic graveyards just to piss people off, because that's the kind of person I am. But again,
I have a question.
Yes, you with your hand up in the back.
An international question. Do you guys have to buy sand or just go outside and just be like, sand?
That's a really good question. So
we have to
we're
fight the kangaroos first, and then we just take their sand.
So obviously, not many of your family were convicts, or you'd already know about this. So basically, what happens is we're the world's largest island, and we are surrounded by sand everywhere. In fact, in the middle of Australia is all just a desert as well. So there is a lot of sand. Me personally, I rated my daughter's sandpit because I am father of the year material.
Yeah. June wasn't actually filmed on it's not actually another place. It's actually just Australia. Although sometimes people think we're fake for some reason, which is also
the sun proves it. That's now I know definitely that it's real.
Yeah. Actually, well, you've got sand as well near where you are. However, it's currently covered in snow.
Yeah.
And also it's a bit liberal to be calling it sand. It's more like less coarse grit.
Hey, send me some. I need some places. That'll do it. Look, the only thing I've got to go by is like season 4 and 5 of Vikings. That's what everywhere in the UK looks like to me at the moment.
It just looks like the set of a mixture between Downton Abbey and Peaky Blinders. It's basically you're from one of those two places.
Both of which I'm happy to say I've seen Peaky Blinders. Not so happy to say that I've seen a lot of I swear it was my wife, not me. So yeah, right, honey.
Right,
Married at first sight, bro, all the way. Okay, so let's go to our new guys. So David, we're going to pick you first because your microphone is muted, and that makes me want to make you talk. What have you been up to, buddy?
I have been up to virtually nothing. I've tried to rival you in the absolutely nothing hobby stakes.
Good luck.
However, I did purchase one of these lovely guys after seeing Timmy.
Oh, Lord of Cheese.
Yep, Lord of Cheese. I saw him run one on Sunday. He did really well. So at the moment, he is being assembled.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
I can custom my list to beat you. All right.
That's it. But then also got to get in there. Got to get more plague bearers. So.
Spoilpox Scrivener. Dude, that model's amazing. I really love that sculpt.
Is he the trumpet face dude? Trumpet face dude, right? Or is that a different one? Yeah, it is.
No, it's the Scroll Keeper.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, there we go.
Gee, 40k players, man. I tell you.
He's in 40k too.
Oh dear.
Oh, that's even worse. You should know it. That's
the crossover.
You know what? That's it, Brindley. You get 2 minutes of timeout. I want you off screen and in the corner to the right. That's it. Bloody hell. All right, Scotty, what have you been up to, buddy? Other than selecting hats, obviously, that's taken at least an hour of your time, I can tell.
It does. This hat is my life.
Yeah.
So I've got a Storm Raven in the back there that I've been trying to strip, and the paint doesn't like to come off. So
I'm sorry.
I've got a
Yeah, no, I heard you. I'm just sorry.
I just, because you're AoS, you don't get that sort of cool stuff. So yeah, I've been trying to strip it and having trouble. So my next step is isopropyl alcohol. And then in the meantime, I've been painting up some Hellblasters, nice little purple guns and lots of plasma.
Love it.
So that's pretty much been my week of hobby. Oh, I taught one of my little ones to drill out gun barrels as well. That was a Sunday thing. So
that's it. You bring up the next generation, mate. You're a hero and a legend.
Gentleman scholar.
How to drill barrels out, and she was pretty stoked with that. So yeah.
Amen to that. All right. So what we're going to do now before we get into our news and events, because I am enjoying keeping you guys around tonight. It's entertaining me, and well, Brindley, the light is just not doing many wonders for your face tonight. We're going to play a game. Rob, what do you know of plastic bums?
Actually, weirdly, I'm an aficionado of plastic bums. I'm very excited about that. Have you seen this? Never mind. Continue. Why? What are you asking me?
So we have a little game.
I don't want to know where Rob was going with that. Like,
I kind of do too, but I feel like it's an off-air question. Because when he did it, it wasn't just with one hand. I'm pretty sure there was two. So whatever it was, it involved that Fat Bottom Girls Who Make the Rock and World Go Round song by Queen. We'll get there later. So we have a game, and it's called Guess That Booty. Now, what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to show you pictures of some asses, and what I need you to do is, for me, guess who owns those bumps. Now, it's a mixture of 40k and Age of Sigmar. I know that you're across both, so we're going to mix it up a bit for you tonight.
I'm game curious.
Now, whilst we're playing, Brinley has his gigantic crayon, which he stole from his son, because also Father of the Year nominee, and he will be keeping tally. Now, Brinley, what's the scores looking like this year? Who have we had so far?
Well, in dead last, we've currently got Graham McNeil on 2.5, and then following very closely, we have Gav Thorpe on 3, and then leading the field, we have the hobbyist girl Sophie. She is on 4,
and we had we had Uncle Atom as well.
Oh yeah, he did. I think he got 2 or 3s. I don't think he's even on podium spot at the moment.
Oh, that's just disappointing. So, what I need from you tonight, Rob, is a good show. I'm looking for maybe 75% success rate. I reckon you've got this in the bag. All my faith is in you. So, without any further ado, let us go on to the first backside. This is the best game, I swear. All right, guess that booty.
Oh, it is a fuck me, Branch Witch or Branch Wraith? Branch Witch or Branch Wraith?
I can't do the first one because we're live on air and I don't want to take my clothes off.
Oh,
I will give it to you. It was the Branch Witch.
Oh, 1 for 1.
I honestly can never remember which is which when I look at the model.
Well, honestly, they all do look the same.
Or do you ever? And also, when you build in your army list, you know, when you're like on like War Scroll building, you're like, they're the same points. I'm just going to put one of them in. I mean, whichever one I mean. So
yeah, see, I can't do that yet because Brinley hasn't painted my Sylvaneth. So
I'm not painting a Sylvaneth, just to be clear.
I just so you know, I can't paint to save myself at all, Rob. So Brinley does a lot of painting, and I just do a lot of bitching.
By a lot.
Can I tell you about a cool paint scheme for Sylvaneth I've heard about but I've never seen? Because you know, obviously, there's the realm of metal.
Yes.
Yeah. Why has no one just lead belched them and then just sprayed some extra bits and just done, you know, metal dryads and metal tree men? I thought that would be awesome.
That'd take me like 30 seconds. I love that. Let's do that.
I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty sure you may have just changed my life. Now, out of curiosity, and I will try not to. I'll try not to go any deeper into just the question, but how much do you think that model is in Australia?
Oh, right, yeah, because you guys have to pay through the nose, which is utterly unfair. But I always think that there's like a disproportionate markup on character models anyway. So in the UK, I reckon it's like 25 quid. So in Australia, probably $900 dues. Let's go for $60.
It's 39 Australian dollars.
Oh wow! Okay, sorry. I hate it when people do that. How much is this? 1 million? No, it's 100,000.
No, but ruined it. I'm interested to know the difference between what you pay and what we would pay as well. So, but no, you got the first one right. So moving on to the next one. Guess that booty.
Oh, Dreadnought. Is it a Dreadnought? Yeah, it's a Dreadnought. And it's not a Knight. That's a Dreadnought. It's not got knees. So it is one of the older Dreadnoughts, and it looks like it's black. Is it? Will it be a character, or am I just talking about classification?
No, it is a character.
Oh fuck! It's
close.
Is it Kazmarov?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn! I tell you.
Oh, 2 for 2.
All right.
He's good. How do you even say it? Karamazov.
Karazimov, maybe. I think the only person in the world who I know. Yeah. He's got a melter gun as well.
That's pretty badass. That's a pretty cool mini.
It's cool as hell. There's a guy who does the show with me called Toby. His Instagram is Flying Llama, and he's painted one up. And I would say he's probably one of the best Custodes players in the world. And he's been using Karazimov in his army list. So.
Just so you know, that is 90 Australian dollars. Alrighty.
Fucking hell. Sorry.
I know.
That's a lot.
Oh, mate, it's a little bit worse in New Zealand as well. I think they throw an extra $5 on or so for there as well. Alrighty. Moving on, number 3. So far, you're 100% success rate.
Oh, no. It's going to let me down
Here we
now.
go. Guess that booty. I'll even zoom in for you a little bit there.
So he's a Dwarden, so he's a Fire Slayer, and he is... he's got the 2 hands, which means he's not the Rune Smite. He's the special character, and they all look the same to me. I am going to go for... He's not the Rune Smite. He's not the Runes. Is he the Rune Son on foot? No. Rune Son on foot.
They're not all characters, so some of these will just be your standard as well.
Oh, right. Okay, so Hearthguard Berserker.
Volkite Berserker.
Same thing, isn't it?
Okay,
Does anyone really know the names?
We'll I don't know. We'll revisit this one. I'm keen to give you half a point.
All right, half a point.
All right.
Oh, that's nice, yeah.
I am generous.
I think you're now tying. You're now tying with tying with Graham McNeil. So good job.
Okay.
Oh, really? Already?
By the way, on its own, that mini looks cool as hell, doesn't it?
Yes, they certainly do. They certainly do. Now the difference between them obviously is that the
oh my god, these must cost the earth.
Yeah, the Hearthguard have the double-handed weapons, and they're $70. But for a box of
10,
for 5. Now for a box of the Volkite Berserkers, which contains 10 of them, you're looking at 100 Australian dollars.
What the holy bananas? Are you sure?
I'm 100% positive.
Our wallets say yes.
Yes.
What the hell? I'm checking now. In English.
Yeah, I'm. Oh, really? To see what it is pounds wise.
I'll do this with you. It'll be fun.
Okay.
But also that's just bang out of order, in my opinion. £35.
£35. Really?
Yeah.
So if it was £35, that's 62 Australian dollars. But unfortunately for us, we pay 100 Australian dollars. So in Australian dollars, that would be £56. So that's 56 quid.
So it's basically a box and a half.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm sorry, dudes. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Like, I love that you guys love the hobby. You guys are ace.
We do. We bloody love this hobby. It's amazing.
If you want, I'll take a note to Warhammer World that just says Australia hates you, and I'll just deliver it to someone if you want.
They just hold the page up to their face, and then your fist comes through it and put them in the nose. Love from Australia.
All right. Send them a really angry kangaroo.
A really muscly one. All right, number 4. Guess that booty.
Oh, so it's a Blood Angels, and it's not a Primaris Marine. It's not Lamartes. It's... Oh, is it a character?
Negative.
Oh, right, okay. It's not Sanguinary Guard. It's not... just a Blood Angel Chaplain.
Oh, it's a Terminator, part of the Terminator Assault Squad.
Oh, okay.
So, which is 75 Australian dollars. So 42 British pounds there for that.
Maybe instead of playing Guess That Booty, next time we
should guess that price.
We should play Just Guess That Price.
But
you should only ever do that if you have like the CEO from Games Workshop on.
Yeah, Ryan, sort that out. Let's do that.
Yeah, I could probably sort something. Maybe I don't know. So, but I'll tell you what that is. That is for 5 and one of those little cute markets. 75 Australian dollars or 42 British pounds. That would give you. So, here we go. Next one. Guess that booty.
Oh, a Lord Celestin or something on a Dracoth.
I will...
Well, Star Drake.
Oh, there we go. Okay, thank you. So, yeah, it is the Drake's Worn Templar, but I would have also accepted Star Drake or Celestin on Star Drake because, well, let's face it, I didn't show you much of the booty there. So.
No, it's okay. No,
that's a point.
It's Dracothian. It's bloody Dracothian. Them lot. Oh, that's really okay.
Brinley's not okay. Brinley's gone somewhere, but that's okay. Alrighty, so... You got that one as well, and do you want to just have a guess at?
Oh my god, I don't even know.
Oh, you do. You want to guess this?
$120.
So for a Drake's Worn Templar,
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm talking about just the one.
I'm tense before you tell me.
240 Australian dollars. Which is 134.
I went through so many emotions.
Pounds.
I went through shock, and then I was like laughing. I was like, "Don't laugh at them. That's not fair." Yeah, and then I was like, "Oh dear me."
So, but
like, when you see a disabled person trip up, you're like, "Don't laugh."
Mate, I hang out with Brinley all the time. I know exactly what that looks like. Now, that $240 will get you enough to build one miniature for 154.5 pounds. So, yeah. Alrighty. Moving on.
For how, what, 100 pounds?
For 134, rounding up 135 pounds.
It's 85 pounds in the UK. So you're paying what, like 50 pounds over?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, dudes.
No, that's cool. I find it quite funny at the same time. So, guess that booty.
Oh, okay. So it is Majos. It's not an Archmage. I see. I have a bit of an issue with all Mechanicum stuff because I'm a big Heresy fan, and then I end up just like calling them all the wrong names. I got in trouble for that once. So I'm just going to go for it's just an Archmagos, just flat out.
This is a Tech Priest Dominus.
Yeah, that thing. It's an Archmagos. That's it's an Archmagos. FYI.
Okay. All right. We'll give it to
narratively.
Him. Well,
just FYI.
Okay. All right. I'll tell you what. We'll give it to him.
Is it? No. Maybe it's not.
I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure it's.
Wait, isn't so right? So Majos, right?
Oh,
they're different. Top rank. What? So a Dominus?
I'm pretty sure they're different months.
Because FYI, Games Workshop get all their naming stuff from Lexicanum, so I doubt they know more than we do. Okay, all right. Now, don't give me the point.
Don't give you the point.
Not until I beat myself with a stick.
I will let you know that for 34, rounding up 35 British pounds, you too can own this miniature in Australia. 62 Australian dollars.
That's too much money. That is too much money. I'm going to say this every time. You've already convinced me.
Guess that booty.
Oh, so it's a Temple Guard, but now they're called Saurus Guard.
Damn, he is good, Brinley.
He's all over it.
Give him the bloody point.
I feel like I'm doing this too fast, and maybe and I also feel like the other people you've had on the show should have been as competent. So I'm worried that I've got a freakish thing that I didn't know about where I stare at models' bums.
We are all quite.
You revealed something to me.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Now, just so you're aware, a unit of 10 of these bad boys will set you back 95 Australian dollars. That's 53.2 British pounds.
50? What, for 10?
Yep.
No.
100%, yep.
Disagree. Also, question in General's Handbook, why can you buy units of these points-wise in 5 as opposed to 10s? Great question.
Ooh.
That is. You can't do that with skeletons anymore.
No.
Right.
It's just because never mind. Continue on with the game.
Okay, here we go. It's that booty.
Oh, fuck. I know nothing about Necrons.
Well, then that's probably not going to help you.
I'm going to go for... Oh, what the little destroyer? I'll go for a destroyer.
Oh, maybe. Nah.
It is the Triarch Stalker.
Oh, Nikki's going to hate me. That was honestly my other guess. Oh, damn it. Okay, good.
Well, you're still doing all right. And just so you're aware, 79 Australian dollars, that is 44.2 British pounds for that bad boy.
How cool is that guy? It looks like he's DJing, doesn't he?
It does look a little bit, yeah.
This is awesome.
You should definitely...
So you'd put him on a base, and around the edge of the rim of the base, it would just say, blow my whistle, bitch.
You can have like a whole bunch of Necrons just raving around him, all in like technicolor.
Yeah, man.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I do not envy anybody who's had to paint that. It looks kind of funky. I guess you could sub-assemble that and it'd be really easy. Alrighty, here we go. Second to last, guess that booty. This is a hard
Arcanaut. It's an Arcanaut bum.
God damn.
All over it. I really want one of those anchor sword things. They look wicked.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. The Arcanauts Company, one of the coolest, like little like
They are.
corsets. Yeah.
They really
Glad they
are.
brought them back. It's very steampunk. I think if I
Oh,
was,
look, and I'm just glad that that we can have the privilege of owning a box of 10 of these for 77 Australian dollars or 43.1 British pounds.
What? For 10?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, I've got so many questions to ask because of this.
I know it makes me a sad panda, but such as life.
£27 here.
Oh my god. Okay.
Wow. That shipping. Oh, mate.
Oh mate, it's definitely not shipping because I can buy stuff for anyway. Here we go. Last one.
Agreed.
We'll get Rob to ship us stuff.
Yeah, we'll just start sending you orders. Guess
Is that the most famous unit in 40k currently? Is that a Dart Reaper?
Oh, yes.
What?
Boom.
Oh,
I did not think you would get that. Was it the weapon that gave it away?
Yeah, well, it's Eldar straight off the bat, isn't it? And it's got a gun, so it's more than likely a Dart Reaper.
So for 64 Australian dollars or 35.88 British pounds, you too can own a unit of 5 of these.
Which is really convenient because they're doing super well at the moment. So you just buy
So don't buy them.
Just buy all of them.
Or just don't buy it because it's March, isn't it?
Just be that.
Yeah.
Just be that dark. Just be that elder player who just has just all Dark Reapers. There's nothing else.
Well, that's every Eldar player.
Yeah, pretty much. They just trade their jet bikes for Dark Reapers. That's all. All they do. Oh, look.
That's all they've done.
Oh, what other OP unit can we use now? Oh,
So how well did Mr. Rob do tonight?
well,
I'm upset about the Tech Priest.
if we had like some sound effects, we'd do a drum roll, but we don't. So yeah, everyone just clap quietly on your desk if you're watching
drums.
now. All right, so in third place we have Gav Thorpe on 4. In second place we have Sophie, who is on 5, and in first place we have Joe, the honest wargamer, on 5.5, scraping in.
No one tell him. Everyone leave it.
No one will. Okay, all right, that's good. We won't tell him. That's perfectly fine. So remember at the start where I said this is the kind of consistent professionalism you can come to expect from us?
100%.
That is right there. That is me proving my point.
This is why I've always wanted to come on Pete and John's show.
Huh?
Oh, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Kevin. I really appreciate it.
No problem, Barry.
All right, so before Barry and Carl piss off for the rest of the night, let's go over a few things. So I think, Scotty, we went with David last time. So, mate, what are you doing for us tonight, buddy?
So basically what I'm doing is the new releases for 40k and AoS. Not a lot of 40k stuff this week. We've got, for the AoS though, we've got the Daughters of Cain Battle Tome and Daughters of Cain as a whole, I guess. We've got the...
Hang on a second. I will bring that up for you, buddy, so you can feel like, here's one I prepared earlier.
So we've got the Marathi. That's the way I... So, okay, so there's the Battle Tome, yep. And then the Marathi Evil Snake Chick.
You are totally all over this like a fat kid on a cupcake. You play so much AoS, it's just coming through right now.
It just oozes.
It does, it does.
Oh, Grim.
So witch elves or elves? I don't even know how to say that.
It's just elf.
It's just elves.
That's the spirit. I'm good with that.
Can't do. Doomfire Warlocks. Then we've got. Yeah,
That looks pretty good.
So yeah, so the 40k is more books this week. So we've got Cadia stands. We've got, I think it's Ash the Prospero. Yep.
Oh, I want to read that book.
Crazy.
Gav, if you're watching this, buddy, haven't heard from you in a while. Send me this book. God damn it, got to read it.
Yeah, Lucas the Trickster with his crazy axe. Shroud of Night. And then we have, what's the last one? Spear of Shadows. I don't think I've got a picture of that.
No, but
But here we go. So this pretty much dropped this afternoon from from what I've seen on social media, Forgebane. So the Necron versus mechanical robot dudes. So yeah, zombie skeletons versus robot dudes. Really,
that is something I could get behind.
I'm heavily considering it. It's got the juices flowing of sorts.
Oh, giggity, giggity, giggity! All right.
There's no way that I won't have one of these. I don't think.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
But yeah, just like I said, this came out this afternoon, and it's pretty much hit, various web pages and social media pages pretty hard, and guys are loving it. So yeah.
What do you guys think of the Knights?
What do I think of the Knights? I think I don't own any because 40k is really hard to play for my simple brain. But if I was to ever play 40k, it would just be 3 Knights on the table. I really love the Forge World ones, and I'm a massive fan of 30k. So for me,
they're like mini Knights. They're not even like decent size. They're like
yeah, but they're still massive as fuck. It's like
true.
from a fluff perspective, like I would still imagine these guys to tower over a man.
Oh yeah, it just stomped.
See, look at David.
Who wouldn't want a mini one of these?
Brinley, because he's gone offline again, the lazy bastard. All right. No, that's pretty cool. Do you play with any of the Knights yourself, Rob?
I have 15 Knights.
So. You have 15 Knights.
Yeah. Just saying.
Sorry.
Say that again.
We'd probably pay about $825 for that box.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite Imperial Knight?
Acheron. So the big guy with the big flame, but possibly the Atropos or the Porphyron. Can't decide. I'll go for. They all suck in the game, by the way. So when you're like, I'll play 40k with Imperial Knights, that's quite funny because they fucking suck.
with 40k, what about like if you had to choose Warden, Errant, or Paladin?
None.
Oh, come on.
All right. So if I'm playing with Knights, I'm playing for fun anyway. So I take the guy with the gauntlet. So Errant, I'd go 2 close combat weapons. That's an Errant, right?
The Errant's got the bladey and the shooty. He's the red one. So he is 155 Australian dollars. So he's 90 British pounds thereabouts.
I don't think that's too far off, actually.
No, that's all right.
I think that's pretty much what we play for that.
So yeah, and they do look pretty damn awesome. So.
I think the little ones suck. That was going to be my follow-up. If you guys liked Imperial Knights, I think the little ones look lame.
So just too small, or
yeah, there's two. No, I just think they look. I just don't really like the design aesthetic. Like, to be honest, because obviously the first Mechanicum stuff we ever really saw came out of Forge World for the Horus Heresy, and then I'm well into the Skitaris and the Dune and the Rangers and the Dune Crawlers pass. They're fine. Like they're okay, and I think the Dragoons are spot on. They work really well. They look good. But then the Breaches and the Destroyers are a bit. I suppose they actually fit really well as well. But then I'm definitely not into the Castellan robots. I'm like, what the hell? Like it doesn't look anything like the rest of the range. And then those Knights, I don't think really do anyway. I mean, they slap on all the armor plates and stuff, but apart from that, I don't really see how that design aesthetic gets scaled up into what an Imperial Knight is. Like from an engineering perspective
it's
upwards.
Like 1.5 dreadnought size. It's sort of
yeah. It's just odd.
Yeah,
it feels like they're making miniatures that don't really feel like that they've come from a place in the universe. They're just like there you go, Mechanicum robot dude, and you're like, okay, but where's the other bits that looks like? That was my thoughts.
I just thought they just walk onto the table and shooty, stompy, and that's the end of the game. Like, isn't it the best way to have a fast game of 40k, or have I got this all wrong?
Oh yeah, just 4 Knights versus 4 Knights. That could be a laugh. That could be fun.
I could do that.
That's easy. That's easy.
There we go. Alrighty, so that's all the releases, is it, buddy?
Yeah, that's all I've got for this week. Yeah.
Holy heck! All right, well, thankfully there's been a lot of AoS stuff, so I'm pretty stoked about that.
So you're set.
All right, David. Hit me with a defizzle.
Oh man, we have so many events. It's not funny. Like last weekend before, there were a whole bunch of events finishing up. But this week, I'll start off with a little local club to us, the Bray Park Alliance. On the 10th of March, they're having a March meetup. Now, a very small club, kicks off from 10 a.m. Probably going to need to do a citizen soldier event. Bring on your extra terrain, bring your gear, just roll dice, have fun, casual environment. Hit up their Facebook page if you want to join or chase a game. Our good friends at Ace Comics and Games in Annerley, they have an AoS event. You'll be keen for that, Ryan. Again, 10th of March seems to be the date. Again, 10 a.m., $5 entry per player, about 2,000 points. Match play based on General's Handbook. They run this sort of every month. So the next one's in April as well. So if you miss this one, there's always next time. They've also got one which is painting. I thought you'd again enjoy this, Ryan. If you want to sit down, paint. I know you're keen on this.
Yeah. Look, see how keen I am?
I had to put this in just for your 17th of March. Plenty of time to prepare. 10 o'clock, right. It's not like it's an early morning. They've got their tale of 4 gamers that they're sort of running, but it's a general hobby day for everyone to come on in and have a bit of fun, swap ideas. But that's all for them. The good guys at Pub Hammer taking on the 30K at BrisCon with Death of a Dream, April 28th and 29th. The guys at Pub Hammer always put on a good show, well organised, very much casual setting. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've also got in our friends in Perth, Outpost, the 30K Skulls event, whole day, 14th of April at the South Perth Community Centre. $25 for members, 30 for non-members, Loyalist v Traitor. It's going to be a fantastic 30K event. They also use the Battle Honor system, which is awesome if you guys haven't attended events with that, where you get little patches and dog tags to take along to the next event to buff your units and get a few extra rewards, which is always a bit of a fun game and fun army to come up against. Still in Perth, objective secured. They've got their line breaker on the 16th to 18th of March. I came across this one and thought it was pretty fantastic because it's basically a Warhammer camp. It's the St. Patrick's Day long weekend. On the Saturday, they've got a pretty full-on 2,000-point 40K formal tournament, but they've also got casual matchups on the Friday and Sunday. $75 per player, but it includes the 2 nights accommodation at the Scout Camp, which would be fantastic. Who could want weekend away with Warhammer? Thumbs up. We love it.
Man, I'd be all over that.
It'd be fantastic. I would fly over there just for that event. Like next year, if it's on. Roll
dice for a couple of days and nights, and I suppose, as per traditional Australian events, get blind drunk in between and during.
Yep. Why not? And they've also got the Western Australian Team Challenge on the 22nd of April at the South Perth Community Centre. 1,500 points, 2 detachments, but teams of 6. So that's going to be a full-on event. Very different style. Love it. Love the team event. Going to be very interesting to see how that one plays out. And last but not least, I know I'm going a bit quick for you guys. We've got our good friends at Irresistible Force. What have we got? They're on the 17th of March. They've got the Scouting of Talos 40K event. Are you going to this one, Brinley?
Scouting of Talos, the 500-point event. I believe so. I'm trying to get an Imperial Guard.
No, dude, you hold insufficient gym badges to enter that one. Sorry, Ash Ketchum.
Try and get in there. I don't speak Kiwi. But yeah, well, it's a good event. It's really small. If you've got a new army, let's say you're deciding to go down the deep dark roads of trying to get a custodes group or something, a 500 points event is the perfect time to be able to test and check how your list is going before you go any bigger. Start getting into like the 1K, 1250 sort of list building sort of groups. Should be good. Yeah, man. I reckon I'll be there.
Sounds like a plan. I'm building up a small little force myself, so I'm keen to kick off some of these events at Irresistible Force just down the road, really.
Yeah, man. It's not far at all.
Oh, it's not far at all. It's an hour. Like the 7th of April, they've got Force Axe 2, the second 40k event in their series.
Yep, I'll be going to that one.
Yeah, they got 4 games over the year. 4 games in a day, 1,000 points on a 4x4 board. Again, perfect for starting out armies. Having really fun rolling dice at a great venue.
Yeah, really quick games, and it was actually really fun. I came in the bottom. I don't know. I can't even remember. I think I major loss every single game when I went, but I had a blast. It was such a good venue and such a good setup for a tournament.
So
really enjoyable.
We better explain this to Rob as well. So every now and then we get a tournament or a GT all start, and we all jump in the pouch of our kangaroo and
ride down the road.
Yeah. So, and that's how we get places.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's all desert, so it does take us a long time, and we have to pack water and stuff. But that's how we get to GTs and stuff, man.
How do you protect yourself against all the drop bears?
Boomerangs.
We boomerangs and special prayer dances.
Yeah.
It's very complicated.
It's kind of like the prayer dance is somewhere between like wiping Vegemite off your feet and trying to get rid of flies from your face.
That's exactly what it looks like.
That's
complicated. Okay.
It's pretty difficult.
The poop snakes and the sharknadoes that you've got to really watch out for. So.
Yeah, definitely.
The things we do for the hobby.
That's it. Yeah. The what we brave just to roll dice.
It's not just for prices, it's for wildlife as well.
Well, my question is if Games Workshop to keep the prices the same forever, but released some sort of maybe a Space Marine or a Stormcast riding a kangaroo, right? I mean, how much in your favor would they get now? Would it be like all is forgiven, or no?
Well, I mean, they already released Catachans, so we were pretty happy about that.
But honestly, seriously, if they did, I'd be pretty happy. But the moment that I saw people in the UK and America paying less for an Australian miniature than what we do in Australia, I would lose my shit.
That's fair. That's really
I would be like, that's it. I'm taking up Magic the Gathering. I'm out. And I would just be gone. So
one drug for the other.
Yeah. Were there any other upcoming events or anything like that, Dave?
Yeah, we got 2 more. So we got Brothers in Arms 2 on the 12th of May. Again, another 40k event for Irresistible Force, which is their quarterly 750-point doubles, which should be fantastic. But the main one for them, something I'm rather excited about, 30k event and all, like my 30k.
Hoorah!
Yeah, 16th and 17th of June. I've got to get time off work. I've got to go to this. Again, hosted by Irresistible Force and run by a good friend Tim from the Eye of Horus podcast, and the 30k extraordinaire Nathan Carson, good buddy Nathan, lending a hand
here. Hey, little short fella and a little rude, sweary fella.
Awesome. It's going to be fantastic.
I see all the British stuff. I got you right there.
He swears a lot. No?
Well, yeah. But that's going to be a really cool event. If anybody plays 30k, you already know the Eye of Horus podcast, no doubt. And Tim is excellent. And Nathan is an amazing TO, especially with his narrative stuff. So to see those two get together, that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I did Open War with the Eye of Horus podcast guys, and it was a great event. It was narrative, it was fun, organised your own games, met a lot of people, had some great games against the Pub Hammer guys.
They're my hobby crush as well. If ever I got to meet them, I'd be like, so nice to meet you.
Just fanboy out. Well, there you go. Perfect opportunity. Just fly down here to the land of Oz, and we can organise a table and some dice for you.
I might genuinely try and convince my girlfriend next year. I'll be like, Australia, come on, babe. Come on.
Yeah, and then you'll be like, Eye of Horus, and she'll be like, oh, I'll go by myself. You don't want to do that, all right? Those boys are lady stealers.
Yeah. Apart from she's coloured, so you lot don't like that, so that's fine. Just Australians. Just Australians. I'm just saying. Just saying, you're all racist ex-convicts. Like,
I may have like a swastika tattoo on my head. It's all reason I want a beanie.
I will have you know, I am 1/48 Jewish.
right.
All right,
Good.
so
Proud of you all. Proud of you all.
We're not.
There's that consistent professionalism again.
We're not
there
an
we go.
isolated island of hedonistic Satanists.
Well,
and
we
racists,
kind
but-
of are. Obviously, it's been a while since
Yeah.
I've been to Sydney, Brindley. Otherwise, you'd know that we were. So,
Yeah,
or is
in
that
Sydney.
Canberra? No, Canberra's where everybody just sleeps with their office clerk, right? Or is that just for politicians?
No, that's just if you're Barnaby Joyce.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that guy. Legend. All right, so what we're going to do now is kick it into gear a little bit here. We're going to say goodbye to David and Scotty. Thank you, boys, for joining us tonight. Please feel free to hang out in the chat and say hello to the peeps. And yeah.
Get out.
Whoop, whoop.
All right, now onto
Love
onto a bit of other stuff as well, Rob.
Yeah, that's fine. Tell me.
I want to talk to you about the new stuff. I want to talk to you about all the new stuff.
Okay. What new stuff are we talking?
So the first thing I want to cover is the snake ladies. Now I want to cover the snake ladies because they're snake ladies, and snake ladies are pretty cool. But
There's
what I
not
want
into the lore behind the snake ladies as to why we, instead of having, half decent looking dark elves prancing around the place, we've got these weird kind of fetish inducing snake people running around.
Yep, it was the 40K for Feminists page. They orchestrated the whole thing.
Wow. We are going to get so much hate mail now. This is all on you. You have to deal
Why?
with
I
all
didn't
the
say
hate
it was.
mail.
I didn't say it was a bad thing. Have
No,
you seen
you have
the
to deal with
models?
all the hate mail that we are receiving.
Yep. So to Rob. This is Rob's show. You saw him introduce us all. It's his. He started it. No, but
That's
seriously, they're some of the most
on the
amazing
model.
models I've seen released to date. I think they're bloody cool. I just think they'd be a bitch to paint because, no pun intended. Sorry.
Oh!
But they.
You've done it now. You've done it now.
Yeah.
No, but they just look so small and like scales and stuff. No, they're really cool looking, but I ain't painting none.
Do you just say the 28mm miniatures look small?
No, it's not so much that like a miniature can be big, but its parts can still be small. Like for example, look at Nagash. Now he has tons of little bits on him everywhere, all over the place, and so do a whole bunch of the Stormcast guys. Like you've done his belt buckle, and then you find his fucking knee joint's got a little hammer on it, or picture of Sigmar's penis or something. They're just everywhere, and it's really difficult to. Scales, man, scales. And sure, you can dry brush it, but if you want it to look better than everybody else's, you got to do something else. So they do look quite difficult.
You just dry brush it twice. Twice as good.
You're a brush.
I
am. Yeah, the models look pretty cool. I think it's an interesting aesthetic, I guess, to some degree. I got to say that I often don't like the paint job that comes out of Games Workshop because I'm sure you guys know this already, but the difference between a Forge World paint job and a Citadel paint job, because they have like a painting system that the painters have to paint within. So like often when you see a paint job come out of, it's like immaculate, right? And perfect. Like if you look at Anya and what she did with Archaon, obviously that's phenomenal. And actually, you often don't see one of the best bits of the paint job, which is underneath the breastplate, just because of how the model's photoed and stuff. And again, no disrespect to the photographers, they do a great job too. I just think that when Forge World paint theirs, they've got a more realistic paint style. Now, aesthetically, that suits me more. So I really like how they paint things kind of like they're in world, as opposed to that more Marvel-esque dynamism that you see coming from the Citadel paint jobs that almost make them seem cartoonish.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Like, for example, your standard Lehman Russ battle tank is actually quite crisp and clean on the box art, which is obviously the artist. work there. But then you look at any of the variants that are released from Forge World, and their paint job are really, it's like, yeah, you're right. They've got realistic world effects on them ready to go. They've done the weathering. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, love it.
Like, but they've got different, you know, Forge World are allowed to just paint their models the way that they think suits the model. And that's not really it's not that Citadel can't, it's just that they have a system in place. So when I look at the models, sometimes I'm like, I'm going to wait to see someone else in the community paint it before I make a final decision. Because I can't see it without that paint job, personally.
Is that just because you're an old man now and you just can't see stuff?
Yeah. I don't know why. It's only something I've really realized in the past, I don't know, 6 months to a year. So yeah, interesting. Lady snakes, anyway.
Fair enough. But how do you think they're going to have every now and then something comes along that has a dramatic effect on the competitive scene, or the meta and stuff like that. For example, as soon as the penny dropped and everyone went, "Oh my God, Vanguard Wing is so cool! My 30 Liberators." Everybody, including myself, has 30 Liberators, and that had a dramatic impact on the placing for armies in the competitive scene around the world. Had a lot of GTs. Do you think there's anything here within the Daughters of Cain that's going to have a similar effect?
So I've had like 2 reads through the book now, and I'm doing Shonen tonight. I'm gonna say I don't think so. The book's quite bland. Like, it feels a lot like a 40k book, and that's no disrespect to the 40k books, but it's kind of like 40k books have the codexes now, which kind of like ramp them up, right? And and really 40k is a bit like going to it plays like a Magic the Gathering sort of game now, where actually I don't play 40k anymore. What I do is I pick the 2 stratagems I'm going to use and the relic and art that I use that's really good, and then my 1 unit that's super great, and I spam it, and then I turn up, and then I just play my version of 40k, and then you do the same with whichever army you've chosen. You play your version of 40k, and then we see who the winner is. That's how it feels. It feels like it's a preloaded game as opposed to a game you play. That's not to take away from the skill of it, because there are still good players. Age of Sigmar hasn't really been that, but this feels like a 40k codex. And you got to understand that a rules team of like 6 guys, I think it might even be down to 5 now, producing as many codexes and battle tomes as they have done in the past 2 years. They just don't have the resources. I'm not saying they don't have the talent. I'm saying they don't have the resources to be knocking out anything particularly interesting. They're just like, okay, they've got wings. They can deep strike. Cool.
I think they must be time poor. I think that's the feeling I'm getting through a lot of these codexes that are starting to roll through.
Yeah, they're resource poor, the entire team, which I think is I think that's really sad, because obviously with great miniature release, obviously you want something pretty cool to play. But I looked through it and I thought maybe the combat snakes. There's a really good spell which you can do crazy combat damage, and you've got Marathian. She can make units shoot twice, and they can do mortal wounds, and maybe they can hit on 5s and do 1 mortal wound at range, but it's not quite as offensive as some of the other long range shooting we've seen, taking away the mortal wounds. So they're not really a shooty army, I'd say. And they are a combat army, but they're not a particularly fast combat army. I think Nurgle might be faster. So that's my feelings. But they might be more...
Nurgle base, like a Blight King's got a 4-inch move standard. So only if like the Great Unclean One's got his bell and they've got those ugly-ass trees planted around and stuff, maybe then.
Yeah, well, no, but that's what I mean. But you would do that, wouldn't you? So that's what people do, and Chaos Knights are obviously a pretty big one, I think, with Nurgle. But they start off fast, but Blight Kings I don't think are particularly solid anyway. That's my feelings. But nothing really stands out to me. Maybe it's not the same as with Nurgle. I was like, wow, resilience, great spells, cool units. They've got some really strong stuff, I think, here. Synergizes with Slaves to Darkness. loads. Legions of Nagash, I'm like, oh, excellent. That spell lore is phenomenal, and possibly is the first time we've seen an army that control whole other armies in the game, like it's a control army. And maybe the Legion of Sacrament is going to be the army choice straight off of the bat. You look at it and you go, Legion of the Night, that's an army to play. But maybe those skilled players are going to run Legion of the Sacrament and just stop entire armies from working.
Yeah,
so
I've already started Legion of Sacrament. It's so good. But
yes, yeah,
there is a place in there as well. Well, how do you explain that? I think that there is definitely a way to play the greater, to put Nagash on a table and make it work. I think I was talking to some friends on in a forum. It's called the Grand Alliance. If you're not already on the Grand Alliance, by the way, go to that forum and sign up. It's bloody amazing. Love it. First cohort, I think there's also something there as well.
Okay, cool.
People willing to get into it. But yeah, I digress.
No, you can tell me. I like it. I love hearing it.
Turn control. So I think the whole, with the first cohort, you always want to split up the turns. So you always want to either go, if you go first, then that's cool. Because Nagash has a whole bunch of spells and stuff, and there's certain ways that you can bubble wrap the Archive, and I say take Archive because they're really heavy hitters. Bubble wrap the Archive with some skeletons and keep them all close to Nagash, because Nagash can just chuck any wounds that he doesn't save, which is not much when he's got a 2-up save against normal damage and then a 5-up and a 6-up against mortals as well, if you know what you're doing. So you can do all of that, but with turn control, you want to make sure that you're always going first and he's always going second, or vice versa, so that there are no double turns and Nagash just can't get shot off the table. There's a way of using your battle line, which are really good now with Legions of Nagash as well. So skeletons, for example, would be a good one, of utilizing the battalion and making a 2K list out of just that battalion, so that it's also a 1-drop. And you're deciding who goes first a lot of the time as well. Not to mention the fact that with the graveyard mechanics and all of that, you're bringing back all of your battle line constantly. And Nagash is just a beast. Like if you're within range at the end of, or even at the start of turn 1, which is still possible with Nagash, there's a lot of damage that you can do. There's a lot of mortals that you can spit out. He's got so many spells, and I just think that there really is something there for the first cohort that'll be really effective. It's just really hard to get to get a list on paper that looks competitive. So the trouble I'm having with Death at the moment is Sacrament looks competitive, and there's something in first cohort, but it's just trying to find it. Nothing stands out yet. But it's early days. It's the same with Daughters of Cain. I think there's definitely going to be something there, but a lot of the units, and just I guess to mimic what you said, a lot of the stuff sort of doesn't really stand out as like, oh, holy shit, that's going to be crazy. Like I don't see heaps of rend, I don't see tons of mortals or anything like that. It just looks like another army that's going to slide in there at the middle to high mid sort of tier. But I think that the death stuff's going to come in at the high mid as a base, and it'll go from there. I don't know. I get, it might just be me. I'm leaning more to the Sacrament stuff with all the spells and that. One, because I've got them in painted, but two, because Nagash himself is spell orientated, and I think that anything that mimics the Lord of Undeath and Undead is sort of the right way to go. So, and on top of that, Arkham was his favorite, so there's got to be something there. Lore-wise, I'm leaning towards Sacrament. But,
yeah, I think so. I think, but like, it will take a while to really hone that army. And people are going to have to play with it quite a lot. There were some really interesting structural changes to the battle tome in Daughters of Cain. I took some notes if you want to hear them. Like, they're quite quick.
Very nuts. Yeah,
they're quite quick. Number one, 1-drop battalions are gone. So this is a new faction. And Brindley, I'm sure you know about this in Age of Sigmar, but in AoS, and just in case no one does, one of the things a lot of people do competitively in order to choose who goes first is they try to find a battalion that makes their army better, Vanguard Wing, or just makes it so they can encompass their whole army in one drop. So that if you and me were playing a game, I would drop my army, or deploy my army before you deploy your army, which means I would get to choose who goes first. Usually that means I would give my opponent the first turn, meaning they have to move on to objectives and come into kind of my more, because it's more of a medium range game, although it's becoming a longer range game as time goes on.
Yeah.
And it means that not only do I get to take advantage of trying to hurt you, but also I get to womp across the board and potentially get a double turn, which is, so it's a big deal. But it's effectively, I think I was able to make a 2-drop army out of the Daughters of Cain book. I haven't yet. There might be a 1-drop army, but it isn't like your standard 1-drop army, really. And we saw there's something similar in Legions of Nagash as well. So does that mean that we're going to be moving away from 1-drop battalions? And does it also mean that we're just going to have a dice-off to see who goes first for Age of Sigmar in the future?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think it feels like the 1-drops are still there, but it feels like they've made it a lot harder to get that. Like now that you know how it's paper, scissors, rock with a lot of armies. You look at all the battalions and you look at everything that you can take, and usually you can't have the best of everything. You've got to pick what it is that you want to be really good at, and then be mediocre or shit at the rest. I think that the 1-drop mechanic is going to be one of those things where you can say, right, well, I can go first as a 1-drop, but then I may not have the most effective army for not for the hard, well, whatever it is that you're playing. So it's just going to be another one of those ideas, another one of those mechanics that you have to sort of take into account. Do I want to be a 1-drop, or do I want to be able to smash face with these units here?
Yeah.
But there's still some. So yeah, I get what you're saying. It makes a lot of sense, actually.
So yeah, that's not in the book. And that will be intentional, right? Because as you saw from the previous battle tomes, there were a lot of battalions, and a lot of those battalions were orientated around, because it's quite clear that they're like, they want to produce purchases, right? And they're like, okay, here's a battalion. But you buy all the stuff in this, there's your battalion, there's your special rules for doing that. It's almost like, it's a buy your army bot, like kind of like starter kit. But there's an intentional move away from that. Which is going to, in my opinion, potentially hurt sales, or it doesn't really, it doesn't engender sales in your brain. So actually, there must be some sort of other reason that they've chosen it. I would say it's probably for the state of the game and for play. Yeah. That's my opinion. Also, there's the city rules. So there's chapter tactics. So again, previously you would get special rules from battalions. All the battalions only have 1 rule. Now, normally battalions have got 2 or 3 rules, right? In Daughters of Cain.
Yeah.
But there's only 1 for all of these battalions. But if you choose which city your army is from and you paint it, # Space Marines, # Red Guilliman. Then you get some special bonuses. But they're free. So things being free.
And the battalions have gotten cheaper in depth as well. So that also goes towards what you're saying.
Yeah, but the fact that they're free means not all things being free are equal. Battle Brew means that there will be, it's like we saw with Carriage and Overlords, there really is 1 or 2 of the barracks that you'll take. But with Daughters of Cain, it's the same thing. You're not going to take, they're not all equally as good, but they are all equally as free. So you're going to see one spammed more than the other.
So how does the whole you get what you pay for thing work out with free shit?
It doesn't, does it?
Yeah, that's messed me up. That's messed me up.
And
for those of you that are still listening as well, in the chat, tell us what you think about the whole battalions, cities thing, and if we're maybe moving away from the 1-drop to other mechanics as well. Tell us what you think in the chat. We are going through it, and Rob is going to pick somebody soon to give away a Death Cheese starter kit, which is a box of skeletons, a White King, and a Necromancer. And we've also got some Retributors lying around as well that we can give away. So we will be reading the chat whilst we chat.
Oh, okay. All right. There we go. All right, sorry. It's all right. Rule of 1 is in for prayers. So prayers have got the rule of 1. So so you can only cast 1 Mystic Shield or attempt to cast 1 of each spell. Now you can only attempt to do 1 prayer.
Wait,
even if
sorry, is that just for Daughters of Cain?
Just for Daughters of Cain.
Oh, thank God. My Lord Relictors are still useful. All 3
But
of them.
what's important is that's in there. So if we see an update in General's Handbook, I would assume that prayers may go to you can only attempt to cast 1 prayer.
Oh.
So,
all right. Well, that would kind of make. I mean, you can't like. How do you dispel a prayer?
Well, that's that again.
I mean?
Like that's why they're so abusive, right? That's why people take them. You can't stop it.
Yeah, fair enough too. All right. Well, if they made that a rule of 1, I could probably accept that. Or they keep them as many as you like, but have like a anti-prayer or some shit.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know what that would be. What would an anti-prayer be?
It would
drinking.
Be, yeah. I'm good with that. I anti-pray all the time. Like, but I will say this, and I know it's been said before as well, but there's a lot of like blood sacrifice going on with the Daughters of Cain.
Right. Yeah.
Which makes me feel like they don't know which chaos god they're yet to fall to.
Go for it.
Well, Khorne, I mean, he doesn't care where the blood flows. So I don't know. Like I'm torn now after reading all the fluff and stuff in the book as well. Like what chaos god are they going to fall to if they fall at all?
Yeah, I think that would be if they were planning enough. I would say that it would be super cool to see an army over the course of a few years change faction.
Mm-hmm.
That would be. Yeah, I'm with you. That would be excellent, and you can see it happening. Absolutely. Apart from obviously, like she hates Slanesh. I've got to say some of the narrative is a little bit on the nose. One of the lines in particular was talking about death hags, and it was how did death hags like become queen hags or whatever they are. Yeah. And one of the things was after every Space Marine chapter book, after many trials and tribulations and terrible losses, one final person made it through all of the challenges and is dipped into a vat of blood. And I was like, okay, I'll take that. The trials and tribulations. You don't want to tell me about it. You've only got 2 sentences to talk about that. That's fine. Yeah. And then it was I really can't remember the name. It was just like foul beasts from the nether. And I was like, descriptive, could be anything. Yeah. You might
know what that is. Mother-in-laws. Mother-in-laws.
Whole pile of them.
I just
after they dipped her into a vat of mother-in-laws.
But there was some cool background, right? We got to find out about. We got to definitely find out that Tectus and Tyrion are in the worlds, which is fun. We got to find out that Malarian is somewhere out there. So at some point in the future, in the far future, we can maybe get some of those models.
Sorry, you say it one more time for me. Who's out there somewhere?
Malarian.
Now, tell me that doesn't sound like a sexually transmitted disease that you need a needle in the ass cheek to fix. You can't, because it does. I swear to God, somebody at GW was like scratching their crotch going, I can't believe I called old blah blah from what's her face. And then gone, hey, that's a really good name for a character if I just change it up a little bit. I'm telling you, that's how I swear that's how half these names come.
Oh, I imagine they just have like a whole bunch of boards and they're like blood, lady, queen, death.
No, it's
nailed
not
it.
It's
nailed it.
Do you remember the old school stuff that they used to have for kids where it was like that felt that the pictures would stick to the wall and you could make it fun? Yeah, it's a whole bunch of words where and that's half their day. That's half their day. Like, if you're hiring, I am definitely keen for the picture making brainstorming process.
The naming convention. I just imagine they just go home late at night. This is unfair because I know them personally. Phil, you don't do this. This isn't what you do. You don't
yes,
go.
You do, Phil. God damn it, Phil.
No, you don't. No, you don't. I did say to Phil once, I interviewed him. This is Phil Kelly, by the way. I interviewed him once, and I was just like, Phil, is it really tough waking up and going, okay, yeah, so I know Warhammer 40,000 is really bad and grim dark, but we've really ramped it up a notch. I'm like, how many times can you say you've ramped it up a notch? I'm like, what's the current state of Warhammer 40,000? Okay, Rob, imagine the worst dystopian future you can ever imagine. everything you can think that is evil and vile and is grinding and awful. That's Warhammer 40,000.
Sister-in-laws.
And then, yeah, perfect. And then I'm like, okay, Phil. All right, Phil. What about this new codex? Well, we've ramped it up. I'm like,
so it's like there's never ever going to be a plateau. These guys have just shot off the graph, and they're just going to keep going.
Yeah, but I'm like, once you go vertical, like, I mean, you can't. But anyway,
I mean, it can only get so dark before it just becomes emo, and then it's just a whole bunch of dudes in really heavy armor talking about how much they hate their lives.
That's already both games.
Yes, that's already. That sounds like it sounds like 40k right now.
Good point.
And Age of Sigmar.
Yeah. Except it's all the Stormcast going.
Well, Age of
Sigmar.
Age of Sigmar is a bit more Game of Thronesy at the moment, with the whole Sigmar stole an idea from Nagash, and Nagash wants his souls back, and someone's got to be the ruler, and Chaos are over here going, "Hey, do you remember us? We destroyed everything. Come at me, bro." I think the story's only just started out there, so I don't know. I miss the old 30k stories. I really liked them because everything just seemed more epic, which is why I'd like 30k.
Yeah, I think that's the best narrative they've done comfortably.
Yeah, 100%. I just wish.
Isn't that because we get that through a medium of novels as opposed to, like, when I was reading the Daughters of Cain book, it took me an hour to read the narrative. Like, you know, you're I don't know. I'm an okay reader, but I'm not one of these speed reader types. But, you know, that's not even a quarter of a novel. If you're reading a novel, you just get more information out of a novel, really, than a codex or a battle tome. In my opinion,
I think so. Like, and this is by no means me bagging on the GW stuff, because I think they do an amazing job with the stories and everything, and all the, like we mentioned, the pictures and the brainstorming. You know, you guys keep doing it, but honestly, if the authors like you know, Aaron, Dan, Graham, Gav, everybody, James, grab them all, stick them in a room, and just be like, all right, guys, we're going to make the 9th edition, all 6 of them, go into 10th edition, because Age of Sigmar is stopping, and we're going into Age of Nagash, I don't know, something. Let's start again. I think that'd be crazy awesome, because, like, those guys just, they've helped create the universe, and universes, I should say, and I think that'd be really awesome as well. Or what I would like to see is going back to before 30k, where Terra was all at war and the Emperor was boy, and play that out. That'd be really cool as well. So I don't know. I guess I've still got a good 20 years of me to see where everybody gets to.
That's it. You dream big. Yeah? You dream all the way.
Well, if I keep giving Brinley shit, he's going to take me out one of these days, so I've got to I can. So
it's just your miniatures that'll end up microwave. It's all right.
Thanks, buddy. I really appreciate that.
All right.
Now 40k. I want to go into 40k just for a little bit. I want you to educate me, because I do enjoy 40k. I just don't like the system. 8th edition is really shit. But Brinley, I'm just gonna put it out here so that you know, Brinley is a filthy Tau player. And have you got any words of advice or wisdom for Brinley?
He's got to be. Well, the codex starts soon, so fucking yes, son. Are you excited?
It's gonna be pretty good. I'm kind of keen to see what direction they decide to take the Tau codex in. As you know, currently it's basically everyone's just running commander spam and like bulk drones. But like, to be honest, like competitively, that's all they kind of gave Tau players. I haven't played competitively with my Tau list through the entire 8th edition so far. I've just been running lots of stealth suits because I just think they're really fun to play.
It looks fun.
So, like, and that's been good, but there seems to be some rumors. Like, there was a bit of a rumor that was dropped early this week or early last week. A person came out, said a whole bunch of random stuff that seemed to have substance to it, but then their profile kind of just disappeared off the internet. So a couple of rumors that came out were the save protocols was going to be 2+. Drones would receive point increase. So we're going to nerf the whole commander thing to 1 per detachment. But still, that doesn't really. I mean, you just run lots of supreme command detachments, and it wouldn't be a huge issue. So it's like, oh look, I've got one normal battalion, and then 15 supreme command detachments with like 3 commanders each, and I mean that could still happen. But what people are saying is that they're going to rejig the rules for the iron cannon, the heavy burst cannon, and there'll be a bit of a point reduction on the Riptide, because as a Tau player, I know I personally have at least 3 Riptides that are sitting on my shelf doing nothing. And I'm sure there are a lot of other Tau players who have Riptides sitting around doing nothing.
Riptide wing. Call it what it is. Everyone's got their Riptide wing somewhere in their room, right?
They're just there. You're like, oh, these were good to play. I think I brought a Riptide out once during 8th. Just to see how it went. It was, I think, it got taken out really quickly because I think that was early on and people were still like very butthurt about Riptides originally.
Yes.
But I don't know, 12 wounds, it did pretty well for what it was doing. But another rumor I heard was hammerheads are going to be made a little bit more interesting. So we'll have to see how it goes. I try to take most 40k rooms with a pinch of salt. But I mean, the Tau Codex isn't in the best place it's been since 7th, but it was in a pretty good place in 7th, and if they could kind of just bring it back to somewhere in between where I can use something other than commanders and drones, I'll be pretty happy.
It's a challenging army, right? To balance, because like, give it a comparison to Age of Sigmar and the Free People's Army. Like, when you write your Free People's Army list, you're like, yeah, more handgunners, right? Hurricane them, right? I can shoot.
Okay,
you're like, right, this is. Yeah, you're like this. Yeah, you're like, this is a fucking great army for shooting. You're like, cool. What about fighting? You're like, no, that's not the plan. Although kind of, but short range because of the movement. But Towers got to be an interesting army to write rules for, because it's just a gun army in a gun game.
So basically, it's the free guild of 40k.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. But how do you make it not too shooty?
Exactly. Like, how do you even it out? Are they going to make Kroot? Are they going to bring Kroot back to actually make it a viable close combat option? Like,
yeah.
What are they going to do? It's going to be
what are those things called? Where and I'm coming from like a Dawn of War perspective here. What are those really cool badass guys called, where they like stomp into the ground and then their big ass guns just fold over and they just ruin everybody's day?
Yeah, it's a Storm Surge. I'm proud to say that I don't own one.
So if you've got a couple of those, do you actually even need to worry about close combat? Like, is anything gonna get close to combat?
Yeah, well, stuff can deep strike really close. You've got a lot of armies that can turn 1 assault now, which is pretty terrifying. Even for Tau, where it's where they have a lot of overlapping Overwatch, it's still they've still got units that can bypass Overwatch pretty easily.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard to say. Anyone who's playing well, and if you haven't shored up your lines properly, they're just going to deep strike in amongst you and just start wrecking your day. Like, I know for a fact, Dark Angels, you got Death Company. They can easily, with jump packs, they can easily get close enough to you turn 1 to blow apart whatever your anchor point is on your line. So beat a Storm Surge or something. I'm pretty sure 10 Death Company armed with melter guns could probably take that out pretty quickly. And then there goes what, 350 points. Like, that's just obliterate. I've seen that happen. But yeah, look, it's going to be Tau. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I'm actually currently focusing on building an Imperial Guard army. So all of my Tau are painted. I'm not really worried. So however it plays, it plays. Yeah.
I got some pretty set in stone rules for 40k. Like, if anyone wants to play like match play, the really interesting thing, unfortunately, about 40k is that like the points are so utterly out of whack. I've had a bit of this past week. I've had a little bit of a hobby wobble with the points system for 40k, because it is
hobby wobble.
Yeah, because it is so utterly ridiculously far-fetched, the imbalance that I have this long-running dream that I've talked about a lot, where I sit in an auditorium, maybe with you guys, you know, we're at some sort of like sports hall or something, and there's the World Championships of Warhammer, pick your system, I don't care which, you know, and there's some people, and I'm not playing, I'm with you guys, and we've got them fucking clappers, and we're having a laugh, and we've got a beer, right, and we're having fun, and we're just gripped by like some good commentary or whatever it might be, watching these people compete. Problem is it does require the game itself to be, it doesn't have to be balanced. The idea of balance is obviously like a big myth, but it does have to be at least some sort of approximation of fair, or it doesn't have to be balanced, but watching Dark Reapers versus Dark Reapers for 40k is just dull. And I'd like to see variety, right? So not balanced, but variety. Anyway, I just don't think that's possible at the minute because everything is so fucking totally out of whack. But that said, I've got some core rules. Number one, always don't take a multi-wound model that doesn't have an invulnerable save. So unless you're taking multiples of them. So 3 Bane Blades, maybe okay. 1, it's just going to die.
Yeah.
So what about this as an idea then?
Yeah.
Age of Sigmar War Scrolls.
Yeah.
And 40k War Scrolls the same. So
they're basically the same now.
But for me, there's like armor saves and invulns and all that. And I'm just used to like hit, wound, rend, damage. Like if
but there's invuns. There's invuns in Age of Sigmar. So and actually, they're more complicated.
Maybe find a way to simplify, put the two together and simplify it into one universal thing. So across multi-systems, a hit is a hit, a wound is a wound, and rend is rend or whatever. So I understand that there's differences because one's future and one's like fantasy, but surely there's got to be a way to make that universal.
Well, there's a reason they don't want to.
Yeah.
Brainley, do you play Age of Sigmar?
Yeah, I've got Slaves to Darkness. I've got a pretty big, heavy cav and heavy chariot army.
So. Did you play it when it first came out?
When it was Fantasy Battles.
Yeah, no. Sorry, when it switched over from Fantasy Battles to Age of Sigmar.
Oh no, I actually sold my Empire army that I had at the time. I'm just like, I am done with this.
Perfect, and that's because and everyone thought it was a game that required no skill and was stupid, right?
Well, I just couldn't see a future in having my Empire army, but a lot of people definitely shared that notion. They're just like, this is retarded. I mean, I know that one guy who burnt his Dark Elf army. Good on him.
Yeah. Lord commences his pen.
Yeah. Good on Lord.
Yeah. So that's why they're not the same. So when I was working for Warhammer Live, so one of the things I got implicitly told was, and I had about 3 directions from the company ever when I was doing Warhammer Live, and one of the only ones that was really reinforced was never say that Warhammer 40,000 and Age of Sigmar are the same. And I was like, but they are. I was like, but they are exactly the same. And they were like, no, they're different enough. I was like, they are identical in almost every way. Yeah, like there's like 3 changes. And the reason that the data sheets look different to the War Scrolls, and the reason that they're slightly different but basically the same, is because they didn't want the Warhammer 40,000 community to think that they were doing an Age of Sigmar, because all the Warhammer 40,000 community think that Age of Sigmar sucks. And it's only since 8th edition's come out that you've got people going that they started playing 40k and they've been like, is this like Age of Sigmar? And the Age of Sigmar guys like, it's the same. And they're like, I might try that.
When 40k was like, oh, we're going to be moving over to 8th edition and that, we were just like, I wonder how similar it's going to be to AoS. And I know a lot of us who are playing competitively during 7th, we actually started playing Age of Sigmar because we're just like, well, we might as well get our heads around how this works. So when the inevitable happens, we're not too shocked. And we weren't actually that shocked when 8th came around. In fact, I actually enjoy 8th edition more than I did 7th because of how it plays.
Because it's more like Age of Sigmar. So what you've just said is, and in 40k words, you've actually just said you enjoy 40k more now that it's more like AoS than what you did before when it was less like AoS.
Well, when I played Warhammer Fantasy, it was so flooded with rules, and you have spent so much time trying to work shit out. When AoS came out, you're like, this is gonna take, like, these games take literally a quarter of the time. And when they said they were going to do the same thing to 40k, I'm just like, maybe this isn't a bad thing, because as a person who plays competitively, I'm kind of really tired of spending like 2.5 hours playing a single match. Like, that's when you're playing 4 games, the endurance levels, like, it's like you start getting to the point where people have to be athletes to be able to like deal with that sort of like mental strain for that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think if they made things more universal, it'd make it a lot easier for people to cross systems. So I'd be more happy to invest time and money into a 40k army if I knew that I could go and play a game of AoS and then I could go and play a game of 40k and not confuse myself because I've just been reading rules and I'm used to rend and hit and wound and stuff like that, and now I've got to go to AS and BS and DS and CS and BBQ and LOL and Ruffle Cakes and whatever the fucking War Scroll says. But not only that, not just the wording of stuff like that, but also the layout. So I like what they did with the layout of the new War Scrolls, whatever they're called, for 40k. I do. I really like it. And I'd be happy for AoS to switch to that format as well, or vice versa, for 40k to switch to the way AoS is laid out. Just because when there's just one uniform way to do it, it makes it so much easier for people to just pick up both systems. Yeah. And why not? Like,
there's also Age of Sigmar's also got a much easier barrier to entry, because if I'm interested in playing Age of Sigmar and I really like, for some unknown reason, I like the look of Stormcast, I can just go on the app and I can just go, what do these do? And then it will tell me what they do, and it's free. Whereas if I really like Sanguinary Guard, I'm like, what do they do? And they're like, buy this book. And you're like, well, I don't know yet if I like them and what they do.
Yeah, buy the book.
Yeah, you have to buy the book, and that's a huge barrier to entry, in my opinion.
Yeah. Let's. I mean, I have no qualms in saying this. I have been in numerous Facebook and social media groups where you see people actually say exactly what you've just said there, and then the very next comment they say is, "Fuck it, I'll pirate it from somewhere." So then what it's doing is it's added cost to people that are then going out and breaking the law so they can play a game of Plastic Men. Like,
well, it's a paradigm shift, isn't it? Really, like, you have to, if you're going to be a successful business, you need to look at like cultural trends as well. Like, so like lots of like models that people go along now with, like, you know, the streaming services are a really good example. People don't buy. Well, often people don't buy like a DVD anymore. They'll just buy, I'll just buy for the same price. I'll buy a streaming service for a month. I can watch what I want. Like, business practices have changed. And Games Workshop is obviously a million miles behind a curve, right? So that, you know, they couldn't be further behind if they tried. But, you know, they're working. Well, God knows, I don't know if they're working. They're generally throwing cats around ideas that exist now. So we'll see what comes out. The only reason I talk about that is because, you know, you're like, I don't want to play 40k, and you're like, I can't convince you until I can make you like a thing. And maybe if you read the rules for a thing, maybe that would be, or the narrative, maybe that's what would get you excited to buy the miniatures. And it really does. Their rule system being, I don't think it's overly expensive, but the idea that people are pirating rules, I don't think that's good, because you are taking money away from artists. And I never think that's good. I never think that's good. But at the same time, it will help sell what they say is their core business. They say that they're a miniatures company, and it helps sell miniatures, right? That's the key. That should be their key business, selling miniatures. Because that's the thing that. And
with AoS, I can just go onto the GW website and look up a unit and say, oh yeah, there's the PDF War Scroll for that unit.
Exactly.
Like, it's that easy. It's so easy. But then, I mean, there is stuff that you can that you already can cross system. Like Mordaka in the chat has said that he started a Khorne Demon army for AoS 2 years ago, and now he plays them in 40k and loves being able to swap. That's bloody cool. So you can only do it with some of the armies. Let's do it with everything else.
Yeah, demons should just flat be in. What you guys? Come on, Seraphon in 40k. That's the plan.
That's
Oh,
it.
the space geckos. So there's a guy that I play against regularly here. His name is Jamie the Dreaded To. He's literally the only tournament organizer with a head full of dreadlocks. I googled it, and he plays
Wikipedia page.
Yeah,
so.
he plays Seraphon, but he doesn't just play him like, you know, for a game. Even when we're casually having fun, he will wipe the floor with my face. And he's just got like all of the. I'm like, oh, what are you bringing? He's like, oh, you know, just the entire Jurassic period. Like he's got everything, and this is the most amazing army. It's so underrated. I don't know why more people don't play that shit. Ignoring like all Rend 1 and having a 2-up save, re-rolling all failed saves and all failed hits. Saurus Guard are ridiculous. Like there's battalions and stuff. Anything with a shield just ignores Rend 1. If I had the money, I'd go out and I'd start an army, but that'd just make me whack like you, Jamie.
They're my favorite army for this year. They're the army I've been playing. Yeah.
There was
also get the Basiladon with the snakes. That's really culturally relevant for you. Snakes and stuff.
It was that within like 8 inches or something, it just starts pissing out wounds. Basically it means you can't get close to him, and his save is so good that shooting doesn't really do much either, because most shooting has very little to no rend. So yeah, they're really good to play. And we actually had a GT recently where Space Geckos took a top spot. So they're pretty heavy. Pretty heavy here in Australia. They've received quite a bit of attention. Michael from Doom and Darkness had an interview recently with the gentleman who played Seraphon, and that's actually a really good video if anybody wants to get into the geckos. So yeah, I dig them. My army at the moment is Death, though. I've got Nagash. I've got 2 units of Morghast that need to be painted as well. A whole bunch of skeletons and Graveguard and Black Knights and Arkan, and I'm just going crazy with it. I really love the new book, and I really love the army aesthetic. I've been waiting for an update to Death for a while to get into it. Before that, I've just played free guild and Stormcast. So and Nurgle. I can't forget the Nurgle, but David's overtaken me with Nurgle, so he's got a crazy army now as well. And Brindley's the other thing as well is Brindley's Slaves of Darkness. I don't see much of around, but whenever Brindley chucks them on the table, like his chariots and slaves are ridiculously strong as well. I don't know why we don't see more of them. I really don't.
You just got to play him really mobile. You just got to play him and try and get that charge off. If you can get the charge off, you're good to go. Other than that, you just, I mean, you can just do the generic and just play a blob of warriors, like a gigantic blob of warriors with the Everchosen and can't remember what he's got, and just run them around. But I don't know. I personally like running lots of Marauder Horsemen because they're just really annoying. They're good to go.
So Rob, what happened was a while ago when all the cool kids were playing their Vanguard wing, I said to Brindley, I was like, all right, I want to stretch this and see exactly what it can do and what it can't do. So we lined up our armies, his slaves and my Stormcast. And turn 1, I got initiative, and I just dropped 30 Liberators, smack bang, and circled like half of his army. And then by the end of turn 2, I was tabled.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty good. He took up my Vortex Beast, like with all these dudes and a couple other smaller units. But as soon as it came to my turn, I had a Demon Prince and something like 15 Chosen just run at him and just slaughter their way through everything. It was I think it was out of 30 Liberators, there was maybe 5 left. So
yeah, I don't even think there was that many left. Like it got to the point where at the end of turn 2, I was like, well, I've got some Prosecutors and a Celestin on foot. There's no way coming back. Like there was just no way at all. So slaves are pretty strong. and they can definitely take a beating. Like I'm shocked that I don't see more of them around. I think it's just the way they're played. So
yeah.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, so other than that, the only other new stuff that's out at the moment is Nurgle. Now Nurgle's been talked about a lot, and just briefly, do you think that that's going to be one of those meta game-changing, scene-changing, GT-changing armies where we're now just going to see a lot of Nurgle replace Vanguard Wing, basically?
Short answer is yes, but it's always dependent on this thing I call the production meta, right? Where so Fire Slayers are easily the strongest army in the game right now. Like absolutely comfortably, especially one-drop Fire Slayer armies, because basically they just do this. They go, it's my turn. There's 120 wounds on objectives. Beat me. And then you either can or you can't, right? And then one of the other like really standout armies is the Kharadron Overlord one-drop army. Yeah, which is but that all of those armies really work in that they get to deploy first, right? But you also have to build them and you also have to play them. And I oftentimes think that some people won't build certain armies. So for me, I think the obvious choice and strength is Plague Bearers and Plague Monks for Nurgle, or maybe Chaos Knights as well. My friend Mark's been running them quite a lot. So yeah, Nurgle are really strong, but some of the strengths that the Nurgle book has, I think, takes a lot of time for people to build and paint. And I often think that we don't see a lot of armies, like you said with Safe Darkness, we don't see some armies just because people can't be asked. Or like, you know, it's what captures people's imagination. Like I think the narrative for Kharadron Overlords is really cool, but you can really only build them as a gunline army. And when you say to someone, would you like to just stand around and gunline stuff? I mean, they've got some great combat units too, don't get me wrong. Ren 2 on a little sword. Yeah. You know, Archeon, Slayer of Kings. Rend 1, yeah. Little dwarf with a chainsword, -2.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Nurgle definitely has got loads of strength in there. It requires someone just to build it and play with it a lot and practice, and they'll do really well. They've got mobility, they've got speed, they've got good magic, they've got an incredibly resistant battle line unit, they've got a really solid allies they can take. It's a great book.
And my last question for you is, we all know that Tau is getting, I'm switching back to 40k, excuse me. We all know that Tau's getting a book soon. But looking, let's look 12 months ahead from now.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to be the next thing to cop the attention? Because I mean, sometimes
12 months.
Yeah, within the next 12 months, what else do you think that we're going to see cop a lot of attention after Tau? I mean, they say, you know, the nail that sticks out the most gets hammered first. But what do you foresee as being after Tau the next 40k army to receive a bit of love, a bit of G-dub stunts?
Oh well, they've said, haven't they? It's going to be Drakari and Necrons. So like they've already announced that. So Drakari, Drakari, Necrons, and Tau. Dark Eldar. Sorry. And then obviously you've got some like pretty notable standouts left. You've got Space Wolves, they're stood out. I don't know really. Like, I'm not saying what else is left. There's like Death Watch, but God knows what they can do with that. And then Sisters and other things. But then you might start to see a slowdown of codexes as they move towards more like new releases.
They're kind of bridging the gap at the moment, trying to get everyone's codex kind of like up into 8th edition and past the chapter approved / index.
Oh my God, I forgot Orcs. Yeah, and Orcs.
Yeah, Orcs will be good. Orcs will be good. I'll be
Thank you, Aaron, for finally chiming in and helping out. Aaron, bloody hell, he's there. He's a bloody ninja, that bloke.
I'll be keen to see if the Orcs reflect what happened in the Beast Arises series, if they'll get similar units to what occurred during that series, or if, you know, I mean, that is a really overlooked series. Like that is
it's incredible.
Yeah, that's massive. Like, Orcs invading Terra, giant space death stations appearing out of nowhere.
Orc speaking High Gothic.
High Gothic,
bit
an orc basically killing three chapter masters and nearly killing Vulcan himself. Like, you know, wasn't like a minor event or a minor battle. This was like, you know, full on managing, nearly got, you know, smacked in the face and wiped out. So I'll be curious if they bring out like super orcs, like really, really big orcs. Like, I mean, obviously you've got orcs and then bigger orcs, but this will be like an even bigger orc. So
yeah, but I think a lot of codexes need that. Like they miss a trick, right? So can I quickly go through a quick piece of argumentative fallacy that I hear talked about a lot?
Right? Nothing would please me more.
Okay, right. So let's. I'm going to do this snap fire, and then anything you want to say after, we'll go for it. Right. Warhammer Fantasy Battle was rubbish and didn't sell, and that's why we changed it. Number one, you didn't support the product or help the product, and that's why I didn't sell. I can't open a lemonade stand and not attend the store, and then wonder why I don't sell lemonade. Okay. Number two, Age of Sigmar comes out, right? And then, so if you don't support your product, you can't fucking sell your product. Don't be stupid, right? Right. Number fucking two, right? You bring out Age of Sigmar and you support it. Wow, what a shock! Yeah, it sells.
It goes amazingly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Is it a better game? Yes, in my opinion. Does that matter for how much it sells? I don't think so, because you need to support your product to sell it. Grow up, right? Number two, with 40K. Yeah, and where that is, same thing, right? They release the product, they support it, and it sells incredibly well. Great. I think it's the best year they've ever had. So, as shown, when you support a product, it sells well. Next piece of argumentative fallacy that they do, right? Space Marines sell the most, therefore we should make more Space Marines, right? Stormcast sell the most, we should make more Stormcast. If you support Stormcast the most and you support Space Marines the most, you'll sell them the most. That makes the most sense, right? So if you support other products like Orcs, like with the Beast Rises series, yeah, if they just explored Orcs for a year, right? If Orcs became... Do you know what I mean? If they just made Orcs the focus and they were just like and Orcs had like an enemy like Chaos, you know, and you could pick you pick fucking Eldar, whoever you want, and you just build those two armies up against each other, then for a year, 2 years, 3 years, they're like investing in that lore and IP. So when they move on to Drukhari or something else or whatever they want to pick, you've got a richer universe to explore, apart from Space Marines versus all of the side characters. So I just think support the other product lines more and they're going to sell more, but they don't think that's how it works. They think you should only support the thing that already sells well, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, I personally find most like just Primaris lore in general just very, very dry, very kind of just like, they've done a really good job at trying to just like justifying a new model to replace Space Marines, which is fine by all means. They're like totally entitled to do that. I mean, Space Marines have always been quite unusually short, but I don't think saying, "Oh, hey, your Space Marines are totally still going to be relevant, but these are just newer Space Marines." I don't think that's probably the right thing to say. We're just like, yeah, we are replacing Space Marines, so like get on the bandwagon or buy another army. Because we all knew it. We all knew it. And as we see now, especially in like, I mean, go through the latest White Dwarf, find a picture of traditional Space Marine and power armor. Like they're starting to get phased out, and I think, you know, give another 3 years, and we'll be like, oh, you know, you've got a real OP Space Marine army there, and you're like, oh wait, hold on, these box sets weren't released that time ago, but they've been superseded by what Primaris units are now. So I think we'll see that. But yeah, I agree. They'll support whatever they view is selling best, which is kind of the same. Which is probably, I mean, you could use that and you could stretch it a bit and kind of look at it in the same way that's probably how Eldar and has been doing so well, because obviously army does well, product does well, product that's doing well gets more support, as did Tau in 7th, as did Eldar in 7th. And then we've got, you know, those armies, like, we're still waiting for Plastic Sisters, but Plastic Sisters, like, Sisters don't sell because there aren't Sisters
Plastic.
to buy. So
yeah, exactly.
To all the 40K feminists out there, we don't want all of you 40k sisters to become plastic. That's not how you're going to sell. All right, I got you right.
Well, so it's just like buying flowers for your wife, right? I mean,
well, this is going to end well.
You've married her. You don't need to work any harder. Like, you've done it, so carry on, right?
Just maintain.
Can you? I don't think mine got that message. So
anyway, so those are my. That's my thought, and that's why, and I agree absolutely brilliantly about the Beast Horizon series. I read that, I thought it was fantastic. I'm like, I want more orcs. Then I go and look at my boys, and I'm like, oh lads, you are not the greatest sculpts in the world, are you, fellas? And I still love them, and I painted them up, and they're all done. And I'm like, I just want the other, because they've got an incredibly, especially with Warhammer 40,000, they have an incredibly rich universe to explore.
Oh yeah,
just go and explore it. Just stop talking about Space Marines for a bit. It's good. We're like someone could turn around to me and be like, I was thinking about getting into 40k. I'm like, cool. It's like, I love Space Marines. They look amazing. I'm like, amazing. Here's the Horus Heresy series and every other book about Space Marines. And in 12 years, when you finish with that, then we'll talk about a different race that you like. I'm not saying it's done, but it's been covered pretty extensively. Let's explore something else.
Yeah, it's like, I think the last time they really invested, they really truly invested in orcs was back in Gorka Morka, and that was, my god, that was an amazing side game to play. Just orcs running around in clans, smashing each other into vehicles, and that's what it was all about. Then
agreed.
Yeah, and then they released this amazing series, Beast Rises. I think I listened to the whole thing on audiobook. My god, it was yeah, that made me miss orcs, and I'm just like, I could start an orc army, and then I'm just like, no, I can't. I don't.
yeah, it is, and interesting about Age of Sigmar as well. Like, obviously, the Stormcast constant love, because we've already seen 3 battle tomes, right, for Stormcast in 3 years.
Oh, yeah, and for each one of those books, 10 different heroes.
Yeah, they'll look on a piece of paper and they'll go, Stormcast sell well, and I'm like, because they've got so much stuff.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, that's coming from a Stormcast player. I have a massive Stormcast army out the back right now because I like them, and there was plenty there. But even I'm going, shit, man, what the fuck? Stop bringing out Stormcast stuff. I've got enough heroes. I've got enough of this. Thank you for the one that makes my free guild stuff better. I really appreciate that. But as a whole, there's enough. That's enough. Chill out on the Stormcast, and the same with the Space Marines. I get it. The bigger ones now, the Primaris, they're really cool, and you can paint them to be whatever you like or whatever. That's really awesome. But there's so much more out there. And I feel like it's sort of just this untapped thing. I don't know whether or not they're just sitting on it till they find the perfect time, or if they're just being dumbasses about it. I don't know, and I can't tell them how to run their business. But
so I got a quote that is my this is my quote now for Games Workshop, and I really like this one. In the absence, never attribute to malice what you can attribute to stupidity, and I really like that. I think that is the nail on the head. It's like, I'll give you a good example. Like, you fellas, you pay far too much money for your products over in Australia.
Yeah.
And the question is why? Yeah. It would seem like in all the world, a company, an international company, for no particular reason, has pointed at a continent and has gone, fuck you over there. You particularly, fuck you for some reason. And it would seem almost spiteful. Right, that could be the only thing you can think. You'd be like, why? It doesn't tie in with anything else that they do. And then when you go, maybe they're just stupid, you go, oh, you've done that. You've answered it. They're idiots. You fixed it for me. Because when you try and see reason, none of it makes sense. But when you go, what if they're just dumb? And you go, then they'd make stupid decisions. You're like, oh, right, nice. Yeah, good. You've nailed it.
And that's why we pay too much.
Because we in turn are also dumb. Actually, it's just it's the circle of life. Cue the Lion King music, please. Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. No, actually, there's a few different arguments for that. One is the price of shipping. and GST and all the rest of the bullshit that we all know is crap. Another one is, and I think actually somebody brought this up in the chat earlier, is the wages, the average wage, the minimum wage, I think is like 28,000 pounds or something is the average wage in the UK, whereas here in Australia it's 55 or 60,000. I don't know. It's higher. So therefore, the people working in the store need to get paid more. Therefore, they need to charge a metric fuck ton more for their plastic crack. But even that doesn't work out.
It doesn't really make sense. And we've had this discussion a few times on our Facebook site when we posted various pricings for things. And I think the last time said that. Sorry. Yeah, the last time someone did that, it was on the Great Unclean one. And what someone brought up, which was kind of interesting, is that I don't know if this is true. And like we bitch about prices enough. I think we can, safely warrant that if someone from Games Workshop wants to come on the show and straighten this out for us, like we're happy to hear you out.
Only if you play Guess That Booty.
Only if you play Guess That Booty. So whoever the CEO is at the moment, by all means, come on the show.
It doesn't matter what his real name is, Brindley. You'd probably get it fucking wrong anyway.
Yeah, I don't. To be honest, I couldn't care. I give you enough money not to care. I literally pay your wages. But one of the arguments that were brought up was the issue that the Australian Games Workshop company is actually it's not set up in the same way as the UK Games Workshop company, and how it's set up, it was actually floated by shareholders here in Australia, and so there's a board that actually determines the prices, and although they get the products from Games Workshop in the UK, they're actually free to do what they want with the prices here in Australia, and they're able to do that through some cheeky legislation that it's not actually a collectible product here in Australia. It's actually classed as a luxury item, so they're able to exorbitantly increase the prices without actually causing any basically price gouging legalities. So I don't know. This is what's out there. I would love for someone to come, even a GW representative from Australia. By all means, come down and just run us through the maths if you want. We will happily sit here for an hour while you just spiel off numbers. As long as by the end of the night, I can safely say it's like, oh, okay, so this is why I'm paying X amount of money for a piece of plastic. I'm okay with this.
Yeah. However,
until then, we will continue to complain.
The caveat to that would be that I would not be sharing my webcam with you, or I would have a bullshit meter on my screen. And if at any time I detected anything, there would be a raise. Because if there's one thing you can always be sure you'll get from us, it's blatant shitty honesty. So,
yeah, we're not.
Yep. Anyway, the last thing that I wanted to ask you, Rob, before we let you go, because we've been holding up for like almost 2 hours now, is what can we look forward to from the Honest Wargaming crew and from yourself as well in the coming future, the near future?
Okay, so we're rocking the shows, which is nice. I think it's been a really fun process so far. So the past 6 months has been a lot of like R&D and exactly what I want shows to be and the format and how they run and what they do. We're kicking off actually the same thing we do, which is a rundown, which in case you guys haven't seen it, is where what we do is we'll take a single model or unit in a game of either game system and run through its narrative, the model itself, and then how you would use it in the game. And the idea is to give people kind of like that snapshot of, I really want to collect that thing, or I like how that thing looks, I want to get into it, but what's it all about? And then the idea is that we explain it, and then we give you a big honest review, right? Like, this is like, we come up with some crazy army lists of like, you could take 6 of these if you wanted to. I mean, it would be rubbish if you were to go to a tournament, but if you wanted to tell a story, you could do some cool stories with it and really just open it up. And it takes ages, longer than I thought. When I initially set up the Honest Wargaming, I was like, we'll always be able to do it in 40 minutes. And sometimes you just can't.
No, you can't.
Right, and what's really interesting is like when you hear someone do like a battle tone review, and they're like, "We've done a battle tone review in 15 minutes." I'm like, "What the fuck have you told anyone?"
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah, what use was that? What have you done? Describe the artwork on the front cover.
Yeah, I always have other guys on the show, and what's nice is we always have like differing opinions. Some people think the things I think are great, and they think are shit, and that's nice, right? Because basically, we don't have enough of a large pool of data to actually guarantee what we're saying is true, like as in this is good or this isn't bad, but we can give our opinions. So we're just rocking them at the minute, which is nice. And one of the things we're doing tonight now is at the end, when we do a rundown, we're going to provide an army list as well. So the idea is to come up with a crazy army list and then give it a fun nickname, so that when people are playing, like, what army list are you using? Oh, I heard about it. It's the, like, so we did one about Bastillodons, right? Or I can, there's one way I can deep strike frogs, plague toads into combat like Vanguard Wing, and they haven't FAQ'd that, so I can Vanguard Wing in some frogs, which is funny. But I never wrote down the lists when we talk about it on the show. So now what we're going to do is make sure the lists are written down, and then we're going to give them a funny name, and then we're going to host them on the website, so you can have your fun, crazy list ideas, and people can go, I'm going to run that stupid list. And then we're going to do battle reports, but slightly different. They're going to be live. And one of the things that makes them a little bit interesting is we're going to have two people. So where I'm sat, the table's over there. There'll be two commentators and two people playing, but the commentator's job really is to give the players just a bit of shit as the game's going on. You know, ask them questions, find out what's happening, talk to the chat. And the idea is while the game's happening, people can ask questions of what's happening to the players. So instead of the players just silently, well, not silently, but just playing their game and trying to win, you'd be like, okay, you've got Nagash and you've moved him to the center of the board. Why have you moved him into the center of the board? It's like, well, actually, I want him to take most of the fire because he's the most resilient unit in my army, while the other guys go and capture objectives. And you're like, okay, that's cool. So you don't just see people playing a game, you see people explaining how they're playing the game. Because most of what we're trying to do on the show is help people play better games, whether that be through knowledge or through showing.
That's
by
a really
example.
good idea. Ridley and I are just two jaded assholes talking shit.
Yeah, I mean, like, does asking questions of the players, does it extend to heckling? Because
Yeah, definitely.
we're your people. Like, if you want someone to heckle someone else, me and Ryan, there is no one better in this industry. We are abusive, jaded bastards. So,
Perfect.
We will ruin people's days
Yeah,
quite happily.
Well, a good example, obviously, is the Thunder Tusk, right? You know, it's like someone's like, say, I'm going to shoot with my Thunder Tusk. You're like, you're going to roll that 2 up, are you?
Yeah,
Hard work. You're going to use those tactics that you're using. Yeah. And
just get close to the enemy.
Do you want me to blow on your dice first? I'll blow on them first if you like. 2 up, you need a bit of luck.
But also, I think the really interesting thing we're going to do with the live battle report is we're going to use something called a standard army. So it's like a placebo army. So it'll be the same army every single week that the opponent plays against. So the Honest Wargamer has its own army that people can see. But the idea is that we try to theory craft an army that's basically gives the best example of armies that are out there. So armies that perform. So if you play with Iron Jaws, Iron Jaws have got, okay, if you play with Death, there's very little shooting, right? So Death wouldn't be a very good option to be a standard army, because there might be just one little 5-wound hero that basically makes your army list the most OP army list in the world. But if I had some even 18-inch guns...
Yeah, that's called the Free Guild General.
Yeah.
That guy, like, standard shoot and then 60 handgun has just become unstoppable machines.
Yeah, so the idea is just to have like a standard army that people can that people can play against. And the idea is not for the Honest Wargamer army to win, but it's more so that when we have, let's say, Vanguard Wing on, you're like, okay, how does that actually work? Right? How does an Empire Free Guild gunline work? When the Murder Host runs across the board and hits me, what does that actually look like? And what not does it, and not does, and this is the thing I have with battle reports sometimes. You know, when you have, because most battle reports are done by someone who's super competent, right? A really good guy for 40k is Lawrence from Tabletop Tactics. I think he's an excellent player. I think he's smart. I think he's resourceful. I think he knows loads. I think he's really at that top tier of people who I want to be informing me of how to play 40k. However, he won't be as good with every army as every army's best general is. because it's not possible, right? Like, I play one army for a year, I'm always going to be better than even the best player who picks up that army for a day.
Oh yeah.
So the idea is to have people on the show who are the best people with that army, who exemplify how that works. And obviously, I'm super lucky where I'm situated that most of the UK, a lot of the really good Age of Sigmar players are in the UK, or there are a lot of really good Age of Sigmar players in the UK, and they'll be able to bring armies on and show how they work, which will be cool. So, and we're doing the same for 40k as well.
All right, so I'll just keep an eye out for my free plane ticket and invite in the mail for when you need somebody to play Free Guild. Yeah. Okay,
deal.
That's cool.
Deal. Can I ask a question for you guys? Oh no, actually, no, I can't. No,
yes, you can. You can ask a question.
Well, it's just timing. No, I can't. I haven't got time. What's it like being awesome? That's my question.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard work, but somebody's got to do it.
Good. And have you guys got any plans?
So we have BrizCon coming up, and Brindley and I have been invited along to participate in the goodness. It's pretty much our largest GT in this end of the country, and we will be live casting. It's a 2-day event, so we're going to live cast across those 2 days. I'll be participating in Age of Sigmar. So
that's fantastic. Are you going to be commentating?
Well, Brindley will probably just give me shit over my games. No, yeah, we will be commentating a bit on games. The plan is to have people and contacts all over BrizCon, because it's 30k, 40k, Age of Sigmar, X-Wing, Ninth Age, everything. It's all there. We're going to get contacts from all over the place. And they're going to chime in every now and then off their phones when they're mid-game and give us a quick update on how their games are going, what's been happening, and that sort of thing as well, so that anybody who's not at BrizCon can tune in and see the best of all the systems that are on offer there at BrizCon. So that's our plan.
We definitely intend to live cast at least one day. Whether or not we'll do both days is really yet to be decided. I mean, it's a pretty big time to be constantly live, but definitely the second part of it we want to be covering, because that's going to be when all the placings are occurring, and then like all the really cool nitty-gritty stuff like the finals, all the events, and all the really interesting stuff. Because I mean, first days are usually pretty chaotic when you usually take cons into events, and everything kind of like settles down to the second or third day, depending on the size of the convention. I know LVO and Adepticon usually run for like 3 days. So that's pretty, 3-4 days. So it's absolutely massive events. And so yeah, we're definitely going to be having a presence there.
We would need to do it for 3 or 4 days as well, but here in Australia we know how to get shit done. So 2 days is all we need.
Yeah.
So there is that, and then we're also planning a massive that 30k event coming up in June with the Horus gentlemen, Tim and Nathan Carson as well. We've got actually
for me.
I will let them know how much of a fanboy you are. Now, also,
they know.
Next week we actually have, I believe it's going to be Mark from the BrizCon team on to tell us all about BrizCon. So catch up next week, and then Brindley, the big guy himself, the week after that is go for it.
Oh yeah, so we got So after we've got after we've had the lads from BrizCon on, we're going to be having a very special guest. Dan Abnett himself is going to be coming on the show.
Ooh.
Yeah,
so are you going to ask him if he wrote his own Wikipedia article?
Yes, 100% yes, but also I won't be wearing pants.
I'm pretty sure I wrote that article. I am a massive fanboy, and it's going to be very exciting. We've actually got some really cool prizes that are going to be given away on the day for it. So it's definitely going to be a cast to watch. Dan Abnett's an amazing, very, very interested, very talented writer who definitely wrote a lot of my...
Oh, look, he's not even on the cast yet, and you're already blowing smoke up his ass. Bloody hell.
Anyway, he's a cool dude. He's a good friend of Gray McNeil. Gray McNeil was on the show. I'm sure Graham put a good word in for us. He's like, yeah, right, these guys aren't totally insane. You can probably do it. He's like, Dan's like, oh yeah, right, sweet.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But,
so we're going to be busy as well.
Exciting.
But what I want to encourage everyone to do is check out the description of this video. It's got a link to all of the Honest Wargamer gear. So you've got Twitch on there. You've also got their website. You've got their Twitter on there as well. There's also Patreon. I'm a massive fan of the Honest Wargamer and of you, Rob, as well. And I tune in as much as I can. If you're a fan like I am, jump onto Patreon and support the Honest Wargamer as well, because it really is awesome and it's awesome content as well. So that's that was my last little piece there. I wanted to make sure that that everybody knew how to find you as well. But a lot of us already do follow you, and we really appreciate you coming on tonight, mate.
Oh no, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. Like, I got to say, I think I was talking to my girlfriend about it the other day. I was like, I really feel like the Australian community seems like a great place to play Warhammer. And it's true that 2 of my favorite podcasts ever have come from Australia. So like, there's something about you guys that really syncs with who I am, and you're great and you're funny. And I imagine playing Warhammer with you guys is just wicked. Right?
It's fucking expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's worth it emotionally.
The good thing is that there's no poor people at the clubs. So I guess
except for me.
Except for Ryan.
Yourself, mate. When you got this many AOS armies, you're poor. All right, trust me. Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Yeah, no time for any recreational drugs over here. Like, you're either Warhammer.
No time for that.
Yeah, it's either plastic crack or break. That's it.
Actual crack.
And I'd love to come out and play Warhammer with you guys one day. So I think that's one of my plans in the next couple of years. That's my plan. So
bring it on. If you're lucky, I might even be able to find you somewhere to stay near the Horus boys. They're just down the road here.
Yeah, God, I can sniff their pants.
Pretty exciting. Yeah.
Oh, God. All right, Bradley, take us out, buddy.
All right, so this has been a very, very exciting episode. We've talked about a lot of things, mostly Age of Sigmar and how expensive Warhammer is in Australia.
And you made a new friend, Bradley. His name's Phil from the Honest Wargamer. Or was it Steve?
AKA Rob, AKA Joe, AKA whatever we decided to call him this day. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you. It's been exciting.
It's been lovely. Thank you.
I'm so glad that someone else was on to put up with Ryan's crap, and it wasn't just me. It's been good. For all those who are subscribed, thank you for supporting us. Obviously, we don't. We kind of do this for you guys. Like, it just started off as 2 guys talking crap, but you guys subscribe and for some reason like this stuff. So we're just going to keep doing it until you get sick of it.
It's our handsome faces.
Yeah, it's our hats. It's wearing our hats inside. People are just like, why are they wearing hats inside? And that's all they worry about the entire time. But this has been us. It's been a fun episode. I've enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, go check out the Honest Wargamer. Go check out all these people that we mentioned. Did anyone win any prizes? Did anyone win any prizes? Were there any?
I didn't do that. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Oh,
that's all right. I was going through, and it was not many people had. They're all too busy giving each other shit about their own armies. So
that's fine. That's
for you. We've got some more prizes for next week. So
yeah, that's okay.
That's all right.
Yeah, everyone, get ready. Tune in. Next week's going to be very exciting. Going to be talking about BrizCon for everyone who wants to get involved with that event. Definitely tune in. And then the week after, we're going to be having Dan Abnett. So yeah.
I've always just wanted to mute Bradley right at the end to say goodbye to everybody and shout out. Love you guys. Catch you later. Rob, you're a legend. I got to quickly hurry up. He's going to unmute himself. I don't think he's figured it out yet.
I really hope you just fall on something sharp. Like,
see you later.
See you, man.
Bye.